From the towering Wasatch Mountains of the American Southwest, we welcome you to this episode of Undiscovered Utah. This show focuses on the mysteries that surround the rugged, difficult, and sometimes deadly American Southwest. I'm your host, JB, and tonight we're talking about one of the greatest mysteries of all time. As Undiscovered Utah travels around the great Southwest, we are always asking ourselves, where should we eat? So tonight, we're going to share with you some of our favorite places to get some grub, and some really great places that might be undiscovered to you. First off, let me say that none of the places that we will be talking about tonight have compensated us in any way, nor do they know that they made our list. So with that, let's get started. One of my favorite restaurants in Utah is certainly not undiscovered if you live in northern Utah. But to many that don't live in northern Utah, you might have never heard of this restaurant, and that's a real shame. This restaurant was started in 1949 by Irvin and William Maddox, and the restaurant bears their name. Maddox Ranch House is located in Perry, Utah, along US 89. This is a must-stop if you are in northern Utah. The restaurant has two sections. The north section is an old-fashioned drive-in with a car hop that comes to your car and takes your order when you turn your headlights on. Then they bring you your food on one of those trays that clip to your window. It is so much fun, and oh my gosh, the food is fantastic, and at really great prices. You can't imagine this quality of food at these prices. They have both beef and buffalo burgers, amazing fried chicken, homemade root beer, sarsaparilla, and cream soda. Well, I'll tell you, those are some real treats. And you tell me, what other drive-in in Utah can you order a seafood cocktail? And that's just one section of Maddox. The main section is their huge restaurant. And even though it's huge, as soon as you walk in, you will most likely see people waiting to be seated. We find it best to call ahead and get our name on the wait list. So what is so special about Maddox? Everything on their menu is excellence. Since it opened in 1949, Maddox has had the guiding principle of, quote, "The best is none too good," unquote. Locally sourced foods include their steaks, both beef and buffalo. They also serve their world-famous fried chicken that is skinless. I personally love their turkey steak. Yep, you heard me correctly. It's amazing. They serve one of the best chicken fried steaks in all of Utah. Oh, and their homemade hot rolls that are free and come with a raspberry butter that is to die for. If you're anywhere in northern Utah, make plans to eat lunch or dinner at Maddox Ranch House in Perry, Utah. You'll be glad you did. Next on our list is another restaurant in northern Utah. It is in the city of Logan. The name of this restaurant is Angie's. It is located right on Main Street. Angie's has been open for the last 41 years and is your classic American diner. Breakfast is always a favorite time at Angie's. Everything on their large menu is made from scratch. The prices are extremely reasonable for the large portions that you receive. Just as an example, biscuits and gravy is just $6.99. But one of the real treats is their raspberry and cream French toast. Angie's is also open for lunch and dinner, with great burgers for lunch and steak for dinner. But make sure you leave room for one of Angie's desserts. I recommend one of the giant shakes. It comes served in a 30-ounce stainless steel shake cup. Yum. If you're in the Ogden area and want a memorable night out on the town, then you need to try the Prairie Schooner Steakhouse. It's all about the atmosphere at this rustic restaurant. You step inside and immediately feel like you've been transported somewhere along the Overland Trail as your dinner is served to you as you sit in a covered wagon under the starlit night sky. And yes, you will want to order steak at this place. Located up Immigration Canyon outside of Salt Lake City is a small little diner that is absolutely fantastic. This diner was nestled inside an old railway car back in 1949 and is still going strong. I have personally only eaten breakfast there, and it was very good. But from what I hear, you need to order Grandma Clary's mac and cheese. It's breaded, then deep fried, and served with marinara sauce. Are you getting hungry yet? Oh, we aren't even close to being done. Sit back and let the salivating continue. Hidden in a strip mall in Lehi, Utah, across from Costco, is a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that came in at number 12 in the top U.S. restaurants in the United States by Yelp in 2024. The name of this little restaurant is Little India. It has become so popular that they just opened a location in Highland, Utah, and one in Heber, Utah. Of course, you can tell by its name that this is an Indian restaurant. Take it from someone that's been to India multiple times, this is the real deal. If you plan to visit on a Friday or Saturday night, expect long wait times, possibly even over an hour. Do you like good barbecue? Then you have to try the 5-Star Barbecue on Geneva Road in Vineyard, Utah. This is not a fancy restaurant, but they often have live music upstairs on the weekends, and the food is absolutely fantastic. They are famous for their mouth-watering beef brisket. I personally love their cornbread. It is crazy good. Oh, and you have to try their fried funeral potato balls. They're amazing. This is a great home-cooked food in a relaxing environment. If you're headed out to eastern Utah, there are many great options for good food that you are most likely driving by not knowing what you're missing. Take, for example, the Balanced Rock Eatery and Pub in Helper, Utah. Now, I grew up in Carbon County and went to school at Sally Morrow Elementary School in Helper, Utah. I love this part of Utah. Helper is such a fun town to visit for the coal mining and train history of Utah. If you like a mean patty melt, then you have to stop at this little restaurant. They also offer daily specials that sell out quickly. They are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and are located on Main Street. The Tamarisk Restaurant in Green River, Utah, is a favorite of ours when we are headed down to Moab for some famous Red Rock adventures. Located right alongside the Green River, with a west wall of almost all glass, makes for a beautiful setting while you enjoy some really yummy food. Green River, Utah is located on the eastern edge of the San Rafael Swell, and many of their menu items are named after attractions within the swell. The Tamarisk is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have nice size kid menu. Their Navajo fry bread is so good you have to try it in the form of a Navajo chili burger. And they are famous for their huge cinnamon rolls. In a small town like Green River, Utah, you might not expect two really good places to eat, but Green River also has the famous Ray's Tavern. This is such a fun stop for adults. We used to stop here on our motorcycle rides into Colorado. Their menu is not large. Well, actually, their menu is on a whiteboard above the bar, but their burgers are phenomenal and huge. They are open for lunch and dinner, and, of course, you can also wet your whistle while you're there. If you're in the Camas, Utah area and you like pizza, you have to stop in at Summit Pizza on Main Street. Yes, it is true that they are so popular that they have opened more locations along the Wasatch Front, but the original is still the best in my opinion. Some truly good pizza. Speaking of the Camas area, if you want a fun atmosphere for a quick bite, stop in at the Oakley Diner. This is the quintessential 50s diner that is open for breakfast and lunch. Of course, breakfast is served all day. All the buns for the sandwiches are made at the local Oakley Bakery. Step back in time, crank up the jukebox, and enjoy 7-ounce Oakley burger with fries. The diner was actually built for the 1939 New York World's Fair. After the fair, it was moved to Fall River, Massachusetts, where it served locals for over 14 years. Then it was moved to Middleton, Rhode Island, and there it stayed until 2007. It took 3 months to transport the diner across the country with a police escort until it reached its new home in Oakley, Utah. Check out this fun location, its history, and good food. If you're in the Fillmore area, I recommend getting off the freeway and driving down Main Street. Visit the historic Territorial Capitol building and then go eat at Clough's Car Hop Cafe. This is just great, wholesome, small-town cafe that is so much better than the big chain restaurants located on the freeway exits. Believe me, it's worth the 5-minute drive through town. They are famous for their fried mushrooms and scrud. The people are just so darn friendly. Have you ever been to Bicknell, Utah? Do you like pie? Well, if you're in Bicknell and you like pie, you absolutely have to stop in at the Sunglow Family Restaurant. They serve good food, but it's their pie that you have to try. How about a slice of pickle pie made with a blend of sweet pickles? Or maybe try their oatmeal pie. It's like a giant oatmeal cookie in the form of a pie. Or you could try a slice of their buttermilk pie, a yummy lemon custard pie, or try their famous pinto bean pie. Yep, it's really made with pinto beans. Tell you what, just get the Sunglow sampler and try a little of all of them. If you are a breakfast lover and are in the Cedar City area, head up to Main Street and stop in at the All-American Diner. This place gets very busy, so go early or expect to wait for a while. It's a small place, but the food and service is outstanding. I love their French toast, but you need to try the chow line. Again, you just have to trust me on this one. They are also open for dinner, but their breakfast portions are so big I've never been hungry enough to try them for dinner. And I'm not skipping breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day, after all. My wife is a huge fan of Mexican food, and the next two restaurants that are on our list are both located in southern Utah. The first is the La Fonda Grill in Hurricane, Utah. No, it's not hurricane, it's hurricane. This is southern Utah, after all. But seriously, if you want the best authentic Mexican food you can have, go to La Fonda Grill. We have family in Hurricane, and they are kind enough to introduce us to La Fonda Grill. I love them so much. It's really good food, and they are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and their prices are ridiculously reasonable. Look them up. They are on Coral Canyon Boulevard. The other Mexican restaurant that I have already talked about in another episode, but I have to mention it again because it's so good. It's located in Kanab, Utah, and it's called Escobar's Mexican Restaurant. This tiny restaurant fills up extremely fast, so go early or expect very long wait times. But even if you have to wait, it's worth it. Okay, our next stop isn't exactly a restaurant. It's a pie shop in a little town of Vail, Utah. It has a name that is easy to remember. It is called Vail Pies. It's been around for 30 years, and you don't last 30 years without making some darn good pies. Look, here's what you do. Drive to Vail. Visit the Vail Hot Springs Resort. After swimming all day, you'll be famished. Now go get some pie. Well, what kind of pie do they have? Is it pickle pie like they have in Bicknell? No, not exactly. But don't knock the pickle pie until you've tried it. The Vail pie has a huge selection of pies, fruit-filled pies, cream pies, specialty pies, and even pot pies. Here is just a sample of the pies they offer every day. Are you ready? Raspberry rhubarb, apple, cherry, cherry raspberry, rhubarb, strawberry rhubarb, blackberry, blueberry, peach, peach blueberry, mountain berry, caramel apple, sour cream lemon, chocolate cream, coconut cream, banana cream, pumpkin, key lime, pecan, triple chocolate, Vail volcano, and double lemon. They also have cheesecake, turnover, danishes, cookies, and cinnamon roll. And if you're lucky enough to be there at lunchtime, they offer limited individual chicken pot pies with a small fountain drink for the low, low price of just $8.99. Well, if you leave this episode hungry, it's your own fault. Oh, wait, I guess we didn't actually feed you anything. But I have given you some great ideas all around the state. What's that? I didn't mention your favorite place? Oh, I'm sorry. Drop me an email at info at undiscoveredutah.com, and we will include it in an upcoming episode. Of course, I need to personally go and try it out. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Well, that's it for tonight's episode. Remember to be safe and respectful while visiting the amazing areas of the Great Southwest, and have fun exploring. Seriously, Undiscovered Utah is traveling all over the state of Utah and the surrounding states, and would love to try out your favorite eating establishments. So let us know your top picks. You can find us on the internet at undiscoveredutah.com or on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search for Undiscovered Utah and be sure to click that follow button. Also, tell your friends about Undiscovered Utah. We would love them to join this podcast. Also, just tell them to search for Undiscovered Utah. Please join us next time as I share more about the Great Southwest. Good night, everybody.